Hello, thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. President Bola Tinubu is currently holding a Security Council meeting at the State House. The meeting, also being attended by Vice President Kashim Shettima, coming after the broadcast of the president, is apparently to appraise the state of the nation. Some sections of Nigerians have taken to the streets since August 1, protesting across the country. We'll bring you more details after the meeting. Today is day 5 of the ongoing nationwide protest, and the Nigeria Police Force says about 873 suspects who exhibited criminal tendencies have been arrested. The police public relations officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi stated this at a Strategic Communication Interagency Policy Committee news conference held in Abuja.
To have an experience, what we experienced during the last violent EndSARS in 2020. Up to now, many are still in pain, and we cannot allow such a thing to repeat itself.
Going to do protests, violent or peaceful ones, in the circumstance of our country is not the best way to register our grievances. For those who have decided to go to the street, is their choice. But if they have become criminal, they will face the consequences.
We will continue to be a stability force as we seek to bring stability in any area of our country where it is needed. I will encourage those behind this protest, if indeed they have the goodwill and interest of this country, to take the option of dialogue and let us resolve the challenges and let us move forward.
Officers say the intensity of intelligence gathering and dissemination efforts aimed at driving security operations and law enforcement has produced tremendous results. The ongoing nationwide protest has taken a violent turn in Zamfara state as protesters block major roads and proceeded to loot property in Gusau, the state capital. At several spots, including Central Police Station roundabout in Gusau, protesters clashed with police operatives who tried to stop them from vandalizing public property. Many shops and businesses were closed as shop owners avoided being victims of the looting. The 5th day of the ongoing nationwide protest, witnesses say, or rather, there was a low turnout in the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja. Our correspondent Joseph Otsen, who has been monitoring the demonstration, reports that a handful showed up at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, while other strategic places in Abuja remained calm.
From the first day of the 10 days nationwide protests, the number of protesters have continued to reduce. At the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, a handful of protesters came out and were granted access only inside the National Stadium to prevent traffic congestion on the Federal Highway. However, a few who came around but refused to move inside the stadium were dispersed by the security on guard. Following President Bola Tinubu's broadcast to the nation, where he explained efforts made by the federal government to address concerns of citizens and calling on the agitators to embrace more dialogue, some organizers of the protests addressed the media, saying they would give government another chance for dialogue. but some remain unsatisfied. And with little to show at the National Stadium, the journalists take their leave. Meanwhile, the Eagle Square, Secretariat, and the Unity Fountain were all calm. There were no incidents of any protests at any of these strategic places. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
All right, we join our correspondent now, Ignatius Nkwo, who is at the central area here in Abuja, with an update of what's happening at that axis. Please go ahead, Ignatius.
Well, in the last 5 days, we've known that the center business district has experienced drastic reduction in activities, especially here at the Secretariat. Where I'm standing now, I'm standing in front of the Federal Secretariat, that is the Federal Minister of Special Duties and Labour. And then by my right side here is the Eagle Square, the back of the Eagle Square. Well, there have been a significant reduction in activities here, but today it's a totally different issue. In fact, we've seen before, I was here as early as some minutes past 8 o'clock this morning, and I saw the bosses of these ministries taking in staff, bringing in staff down here. Many of them went into their offices. Now, before this time, as of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week, we just see a handful of 1 or 2 staff coming in, but then we are not seeing their bosses. But today, their bosses have been bringing them inside here, and so which means there is activities are beginning to pick up at the Federal Secretariat. In fact, I did ask one or two of the staff I saw, and I asked them, what's going on in there? They said work has resumed, that work is ongoing. There's no obstruction. But then, another thing that's happened today is that in the last 5 days, there are some areas that were left for motorists to ply, but today there's some kind of restrictions. You know, they just wanted the whole environment to be serene and conducive for people who want to do their legitimate work. Now, directly in front of me here is the entrance to the National Assembly. Staff working in the National Assembly are also allowed to go in. They've been going in there to go and do their duties for the day. And then we still see the presence of security men around. Even right in the Eagle Square, inside the Eagle Square, there are still presence of security men. But at the moment, everything is very calm. There's no cause for alarm, and we hope it to remain like this. That is the situation here. The Federal Secretariat, the Eagle Square, and the entrance to the National Assembly at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, Ignatius, for that update today. Our correspondent reporting from the central area on situation of things. But on the flip side, it's not the same for banks, as most of the usually bustling banks in Abuja metropolis we hear did not open for business today. Our correspondent Bosade Abel Amosu reports that the closure, of course, is a direct response to the ongoing protests across the country.
A visit to several banks revealed closed doors, barricaded entrances, and security officers standing guard, refusing to let customers in. A banker who spoke off camera revealed that the decision to shut down operations was a precautionary measures aimed at ensuring the safety of staff and customers until normalcy returns.
Their staffs are not available, it's only the security men that are here, so there's nobody to attend to customers inside.
The banks are not really working. I've been here for like 30 minutes trying to see if I can do the transfer because I needed this money very, very urgent to do something important. But they said they are not working. What can we do?
This is a transaction I've been praying for since, and now it's here. Just for me to do a transfer, I'm not able to. It's very frustrating.
The banking shutdown has added to the growing list of disruptions caused by the protest, although normalcy is gradually returning to businesses. In Abuja, Bosede Abel Amosu, NTA News.
All right, let's find out how Lagos is faring as we join Hingino from our Lagos Network Center. Hingino, it's your turn. Network Center, Hingino.
Ruth, businesses are gradually picking up in different parts of Lagos after a few days of protests that grounded major activities in the state. Amaka Owo reports that the state is calm and peaceful as protesters gathered at Freedom Park on day 5 of the protest.
It is day 5 of the ongoing nationwide protest in Lagos. The commercial hub of the country has continued to remain peaceful. Lekki Toll Gate, one of the flashpoints, is also calm, with presence of security personnel to maintain law and order. Vehicular movement is now at its peak. Recall that President Bola Tinubu on Sunday called on the organizers to suspend the nationwide protests and give way for dialogue for the good of the nation. Many, however, are hopeful that normalcy will return across the country. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Now away from the protest, adequate legal framework, implementation of laws, and increased road safety public enlightenment have been identified as major factors of reducing carnage on Nigerian roads. These, experts say, if well applied, will save the motoring public lots of hassles. Diana Ajale reports.
Safety on the road is considered a shared responsibility to securing lives and property. This agenda is what the Federal Road Safety Corps has been working to actualize as its core mandate. Apart from speed, which is identified to constitute about 70% of road crashes and avoidable deaths in Nigeria, experts say willful disregard for guiding laws on the part of road users remains an issue.
The laws are there. The implementation is the problem. And we have enough resources to be released to both the judiciary, the Federal Road Safety Management, to be able to perform their duties.
Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps says government has been making efforts in the construction and rehabilitation of motorable roads across the country to reduce road crashes, but more worrisome is the attitude of some drivers.
What is giving us crashes is this articulated and trucks that use mixed load and passengers, especially coming from the north down to the south. Because when crashes occur, it's usually fatal. Loss of so many lives. So we instituted a joint task force to make sure that we apprehend those trucks and trailers.
As the agency continues to intensify its public enlightenment campaigns to educate more drivers on road safety cultures, the FRSC boss, however, appealed to motorists to always apply caution and obey road traffic rules. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in just after the break.
For joining us in our Just studio. Independent National Electoral Commission says it will collaborate with the Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission for the successful conduct of the local government election in the state. The resident electoral commissioner, Oliver Teso Agundu, stated this in Jos while receiving the chairman, Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission, PLASEC. Ijoma Ozemena reports.
Management of Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission was in INEC office to interface with management ahead of the local government election scheduled for 9th October 2024. The PLASEC chairman says the visit has become necessary to tap from the experiences of INEC towards a successful pool.
We are coming to you, sir, and my friends and colleagues, INEC management staff, to seek for your support.
We will support you to deliver. It is interesting that it happens that you are not just part of us. If the people of Plateau State were happy with what we did, I think they should also be very confident that Plateau State is an extension of our disposition.
In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Plateau State Gender and Equal Opportunities Commission has trained mediation officers to handle gender-based violence cases in the 17 local government areas of the state. Chairperson of the Commission, Olivia Daziam, gave this indication in Jos while speaking with Caleb Gochin on the activities of the Commission.
Gender-based violence is a violation of fundamental human rights of persons, and both men and women experience such in society. These violations take the form of intimate partner violence, sexual violence, child marriage and labor, as well as trafficking in persons. Giving an insight into its activities, Chairperson of the Commission, Olivia Daziam, says the Commission has so far received more than 30 cases of gender-based violence, and these abuses are more rampant in the local communities. To ensure steps are taken towards curbing the trend, more mediators have been trained to create adequate awareness.
We've given opportunities for mediation trainings for staff of the local government areas and carefully selected mediators from the local government areas, and we've given them training in order to notice some of these things, the ones that they can handle at the local government levels and the ones that they can, forward to the commission or to the police for further investigation and prosecution.
On the way forward, the chairperson advised people to imbibe amicable ways of settling their differences.
Let's respect each other. It's that simple. So you don't raise your hand, or take up any arm or any form of equipment against another person. We have courts. We have the mediation centers. If we need to ventilate any form of grievance, it's better to approach those avenues rather than taking the laws into your hands.
In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues in our Abuja studio.
Thank you, Mary. The federal government has urged Nigerians traveling to the United Kingdom to be extra vigilant following the recent protests by far-right groups in parts of the UK. A statement by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Eche Abu Obi, advised Nigerians to abide by guidelines issued by UK authorities and avoid political processions and rallies. Nigerians are advised to contact the High Commission in the UK to follow the latest updates via hc@nigeriahc.org.uk or the telephone +44 2078 391244. However, the statement says the advisory remains under review. In other news, President Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast has been applauded as conveying the message of an emphatic democratic leader who identifies with the yearnings of his people, irrespective of differences. Well, guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria emphasized that his broadcast is also an indication of his determination to enshrine good governance. Lydia Sampson reports.
Recalled how in the past, some Nigerian leaders had allegedly reeled out vindictive broadcasts during past protests. They say the difference is clear, as President Bola Tinubu in his broadcast is not only setting a template for sustainable dialogue and engagement, but itemized what the administration has been doing towards resetting the economy.
They should now couple up a leadership structure and take the offer for dialogue. These people, their credibility matters a lot. Will they be able to be very honest? And of course, they must be very as close to the president as possible, such that the people who are dialoguing with them know that the president will get to know the outcome of the dialogue, and if it requires certain action.
With 97% debt reduced to 68%, as well as other laudable government policies targeting increasing shared prosperity, they believe it is time for genuine protesters to call off the protests for structured engagement with government through dialogue.
Apart from the fact that a lot of money is coming into the economy in order to address developmental challenges, the president has brought the debt service to revenue from about 97% to about 68%. So essentially, rebuilding the economy means that in the interim, there will be pains. But as we go along, these pains will be relieved, will be addressed as much as possible.
This can only be done, again, through constructive engagement, and I would recommend that labor should be consciously cultivated by the federal government or vice versa, So provide platform to meet with civil society in a manner in which this good laudable vision of the president will be translated to good governance.
Has condemned what played out as organized violence, thuggery, and outright lawlessness in some parts of the country, negating the hitherto peaceful protests. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
To other issues now, emergencies are unplanned and natural or man-made disasters do occur, leading to emergencies. Now, for a city like the Federal Capital Territory, just like other cities within and outside the country, we've had situations, calling for emergency management agencies towards disaster control or crowd management. Our correspondent, Ifoma Ojinta, takes a look at the situation here in the FCT.
Crowd control involves managing people in a way that keeps them safer, away from specific activities, equipment, and better organized. It can vary in application. It helps evacuate a building safely, keep people away from specific manufacturing equipment, or ensure orderly operations. Overall, crowd control keeps things from getting dangerous, costly, or disorderly. During emergency situations in the Federal Capital Territory, how have disaster managers been able to manage the crowd and ensure safety of both the victims and the crowd? Have they been able to live up to their responsibilities?
We have built the capacity of our response team. They can respond to accidents, building collapse, flooding. We swing into action.
Experts say in a serious emergency where an evacuation is necessary, crowd control measures keep order in chaos. Everyone knows where to go and what to do to evacuate the facility in an orderly fashion. Former Ojinta, NTA News.
All right, let's join our correspondent, Ifoma Ojinta. We hear she's at AMAC Secretariat. Ifoma, give us an insight into what you've gathered, dealing with challenges of crowd management, especially for a city like Abuja.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Now, you know that in emergency situations, crowd safety is of utmost importance, and effective crowd management is crucial in minimizing risk and protecting individuals, whether it is during natural disasters, public gatherings, or large-scale events. Now, experts say a comprehensive approach is necessary, encompassing evacuation, planning, effective communication, crowd monitoring, and medical support. Now let's examine some real-life experiences here in the FCT, talking about the Trademore Estate flooding, the building collapse in Gerki and Gwarimpa, Karu Market, fire outbreak, and accidents in the nation's capital. Now, even when we talk about even the recent protests, lack of crowd control led to wanton destruction of lives and property, even looting. So authorities, say that valuable insights can be gained into successful strategies and practices. And event organizers, emergency responders, and authorities must learn from these examples and continually improve their crowd safety protocols. Moreover, spectators, that is the crowd, are a major challenge to crisis managers, but they can also contribute to disaster management by minimizing interference and avoiding becoming impromptu journalists. They must prioritize safety other than prioritizing video filming and social media uploads. And experts, are of the opinion that if all stakeholders work together, more lives, can be saved, and everyone at the scene of the incidents can be, better protected. That's all I have for you for now, Ruth.
Indeed, Ifoma, you've just hit the nail on the head. Most times we get to see people, they're just concerned about videoing, the situation there, which shouldn't be. Thank you so much, Ifoma, and stay safe out there. Thank you. All right, let's take you to Kaduna State, where we hear the governor, Ubasani, has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Kaduna and Zaria and the environs. The decision followed a review of the security situation in the state, which revealed that the ongoing protests have been hijacked by criminal elements engaging in looting and the destruction of private and public property. In a statement, the Overseeing Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, advised citizens to remain indoors while security forces work to maintain safety and security. Contrary to a viral video circulating on social media platforms showing a place set on fire said to be in Kano, well, NTA can confirm that the said clip is said to be of day one of that protest, talking about the nationwide protest, and not the picture of what obtains this day. Our correspondent Amin Umar is standing by at the State Road in Kano for an update on the situation at the said location. Let's see that.
Right now, we are on State Road, the road that is holding Abuja Secretariat. And contrary to the report that is going around virally, that there is an arson taking place around the Secretariat, we understand we are here. And as we can see the pictures now, the movement of vehicles, there is still the curfew, but it's within the window of the curfew. And people are going about their normal activities. Roads are alive. The people in the Secretariat, the security agency outfits that are there taking care of the Secretariat are here. They confirm to us that nothing is happening at Abuja Secretariat. And the clip that is going around the social media, which has become viral now, is not happening today. It is the activity and it is the arson that happened on the first day of the protest. I can assure you, and I'm confirming to you, that this is not what is happening now. This is not the picture of what is happening now. The video is the video of the day one of the protest. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
Thank you, Aminu, for that clarification. Let's people learn to desist from spreading fake news. Governor Diri has again advocated dialogue as the best option to address issues rather than resorting to protest or violence. The governor stated this at the weekend in Government House, Yenagoa, during a video chat. Timipre Ohia, who was there, now reports.
Fielding questions from journalists from different media organizations, the governor spoke on ongoing nationwide protests, stating that Bayelsa remained largely peaceful and secure because of the resolve of Bayelsans, particularly the youth, to key into the peaceful disposition of his administration.
It was a proactive engagement before 1st of August. It didn't just happen. Out of those engagements, we dialogued, and everybody came to that inescapable conclusion that we don't need these protests. Because one, it was going to be hijacked. The genuine protesters cannot control the protest.
Responding to questions on power generation, the governor explained that his administration had commenced the process of building an independent power plant and that discussions with investors has been very fruitful.
We have the natural resource, gas. So I have personally written a letter to SPDC to give us a quantum of gas with which we are going to relate with the investor. So the state government will have the gas, the state government will provide the land, you come with the equipment, so that we have an independent power plant in Bayelsa State.
On the flood alert by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, the governor advocated that the federal government needs to do more by providing a permanent solution through building of dams to contain flood waters. On teachers, he said, a few weeks, the process to employ 960 secondary school teachers will be completed and the successful candidates will get their letters. In Yenagua, Timinepri, Ohia, NTA News.
Peaceful coexistence, tolerance, perseverance, and security seems to be elusive in this climb due to unlawful activities of some youths. Against the background of the common maxim that youths are the future leaders of tomorrow, Chidebere, I beg your pardon, Onya, examines ways to combat the menace of youth restiveness in the country.
It is a common assumption that every growing nation rises on the back of her youth population. Their energies, inventiveness, character, and orientation define the pace of development and security of our nation. Stakeholders argue that giving room for the youths to become restive is usually counterproductive with colossal consequences. This may include retardation of development, destruction of valuable assets, waste of scarce resources, and sometimes loss of lives.
Youth restiveness, as it concerns the protest that is ongoing, it is not so healthy for our economy, it's not so healthy for the government, because when there's protest or youth restiveness, it affects the economy, it affects business, it also affects lives and property.
We don't need to destroy our own. What we destroy now will take the government years to repair it. And we'll let them to understand that we need to protect our own.
The president is trying his best to make sure that things work for the youth. He has given us scholarship for the youth and those in the university. He's creating a lot of jobs now for the youth.
It's not good for the youth to go into conflict, but at the same time, the government have to do what is right.
Nation building is everyone's responsibility. So, to reduce tension and drive development, the youths have to utilize their unique ability to mobilize communities and create positive change. In Port Harcourt, Chidebere Onya, NTA News.
And to get more insight into the issue, talking about curtailing youth restiveness, we have our correspondent standing live now in Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri. Kingsley, what do you have for us?
Well, of course, Ruth, I welcome you and millions of our viewers to Port Harcourt, the River State capital. No doubt the issue of youth restiveness has always been there with the nation, and concerns for many critical stakeholders who have also taken a cursory look on this issue is the need to re-evaluate what are the underlying factors. We have engaged quite a number of development experts and stakeholders across different sectors of the economy, and the bottom line there for the views and analysis of the underlying factor is resource distribution. And of course, in every society, resource distribution, the scarce resource distribution has always been an issue. But for the Nigerian society, many proponents have also adduced that it is time the authorities begin to consider issues of how to reach out to the youth in terms of programs and projects that are solution-driven. Part of the concerns in the past is that there have been efforts by the authorities to create jobs, sometimes give these youth empowerment. But how sustainable have these programs been in terms of adding value and also creating independent source of income generation for these youth? Many proponents want the authorities to also understand that it is not just an issue for the federal government. The states and the local governments, who are also part of those who get allocation of resources, should also articulate programs that will have direct bearing. And there should also be democratization of youth programs that will be given equal opportunities that youth participate, given that the implication or the effect of youth restiveness have an overall implication for the whole society. Private individuals also should key into various programs to also add value in terms of providing this solution that is needed to address this concern.
All right, thank you very much, Kingsley. And of course, when you channel the energies of these youths, engaging them positively through skills acquisition, it will go a long way, I'm sure. Thank you very much, Kingsley, for that insight. Our correspondent there from Port Harcourt put on to religious matters now, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has declared Tuesday, 6th August 2024, as the first day of Safar 1446 after Hijrah. A statement signed by Professor Sambo Wali Junaidu, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council Sokoto, says the committee in conjunction with the National Moon Sighting Committee did not receive reports from various moon sighting committees across the country confirming sighting of the new crescent of Safar 1446 after Hijrah on Sunday, equivalent to 4th August 2024. It states that Monday, 5th August 2024 is the 30th of Muharram 1446 after Hijrah. Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, accepted the report and accordingly declared Tuesday, 6th August 2024 as the first day of Safar 1446 after Hijrah. The ECOWAS Parliament is recommending for member states to adopt regulations on plastic product harmonization for the region to have a plastic-free environment. This was contained in a draft report adopted by Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources at the end of a delocalized meeting in Ghana. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
The week of knowledge sharing described by committee members as fruitful. It is now time for action to address the problem of indiscriminate use and dumping of plastic waste. Members recommend sensitization as key to unlock numerous benefits associated with. These include job creation, enhanced public health, and serene environment.
The various stakeholders and experts have provided us with practical insight and inspiration to adopt in the different member states of ECOWAS and scale these initiatives within our respective communities.
Prior to this, a town hall meeting was organized by ECOWAS Parliament in Weniba and engaged stakeholders on how best to tackle the challenges posed by plastic waste.
An example of devastating impact that plastic waste has is on fishery, aquaculture, and tourism, especially in the coastal community where many people live.
Take your time to put a separate container where anything that you use or you see as a waste in the family, you put it in that container, so that you will have plastic, you will have other forms of waste separately.
Members believe that the earlier the region encourages citizens in turning waste to opportunities, the better. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Let's head to Sokoto now as we join Sadia. She has our next set of reports. Sadia?
Traditional and religious leaders in Sokoto State have enjoined Nigerian youths to take the path of dialogue in pressing home their demands from the government rather than resorting to violent confrontations capable of compounding the myriad of challenges in the country. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports that the appeal is coming on the heels of the national broadcast by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu that indicates government preparedness to engage the protesters.
In Sokoto State, it was only the first day of the nationwide protest that recorded mass action by the protesters, although there are pockets in some parts of the state capital, Sokoto, that were contained by security operatives. Normalcy has since returned with people going about their normal life. And for sustainable peace, some clergymen and community leaders who acknowledge the hardships in the country urge people to engage governments constructively than being destructive.
Nigeria is the only country we have, and we must not go anywhere. So our problem is our own. We need to solve our problem ourselves. The population is growing in Nigeria. It requires huge investments to provide job opportunity for our team in youth.
Before the government will carry out any policy, they should carry out the traditional rulers along. They should carry out the religious leaders along. They should carry out all the stakeholders, not until when they begin to implement the policies and the policy backfire.
We're calling on people to exercise patience, to continue to pray, to
to also express their grievances as well through right channels, and we are also calling the government to listen to them, to exercise their duties as government. It's responsibility of government to make sure that the citizens are living in a good condition, that the welfare is promoted, the things that bring hardship are curtailed.
They admonished Nigerians to continue to pray for the leaders and called on the government to evolve more ways towards addressing insecurity and high cost of living, maintaining that such will douse tension in the country. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal says his administration will continue to support religious leaders to effectively play their role of guiding the moral and spiritual development of the society. The governor made the remarks while inaugurating the newly reconstituted Zamfara State Ulama Consultative Council. Jamil Ibrahim Hassan.
The Zamfara State Ulama Consultative Council was established about 21 years ago under Law No. 6 of 2003 as a critical institution in the government's drive to strengthen Sharia implementation in the state. These are members of the newly reconstituted council gathered at the Government House Gusau for inauguration by Governor Dauda Lawal. The governor, who underscored the vital roles of the council, especially in the area of moral and spiritual guidance to the government and the governed, says his doors are always open to receive the invaluable contribution of the newly inaugurated forum on matters of state policy and the general well-being of the people.
With the reconstitution and integration of the council today, we expect you to continue to discharge those honorable responsibilities with passion, commitment, and due diligence.
Governor Lawal observed with admiration that the Ulama Council has over the past 2 decades made invaluable contributions to the state and the society by demonstrating its significant influence on government's vital decisions with a view to ensuring that they are in conformity with Islamic principles.
I assure you that my administration will extend to you all the support you require to discharge your functions with ease.
The new chairman of Zamfara State Ulama Consultative Council, Sheikh Ahmad Umar Kanoma, pledged that they will work assiduously to justify the confidence reposed in them. Some of the key functions of the Ulama Consultative Council include screening of those to be appointed as Sharia court judges and issuing responses to questions or issues in Islamic jurisprudence. Others are receiving research findings relating to new development and contemporary issues in the society, as well as advising the governor on the conformity or otherwise with the principles of Islamic Sharia in respect of any bill to be sent to the State House of Assembly for a law, among other things. Members of the council are eminent scholars drawn from different Islamic sects. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
It's now time to take some messages. Nationwide will continue in Ibadan right after this message. To stay.
Watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA, and welcome to Ibadan. The federal government is appealing to state governments to prioritize employment generation, economic empowerment and wealth creation to reduce poverty and make life more meaningful for Nigerians. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Ahmed Alkali, made the appeal at the launching of the second phase of the e-mobility program of Ogun State government in Abeokuta. Akim Jimo reports.
It is my singular honor and privilege mission the e-bike to the benefit of the entire people.
That was the inauguration of over 2,000 electric motorcycles and tricycles under the second phase of e-mobility program of Ogun State government. The Minister of Transportation, Saidu Ahmed Alkali, commended the Ogun State government for the milestone achievement in the transport sector and urged other state governments to emulate Ogun State in the quest to transit from the use of petrol to a more environmentally friendly energy being championed by the federal government.
It is essential to note that this program is launched at no better time than now, in recognition of the need to devise alternative mobility technology that will ease transportation difficulties.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun says his administration is committed to mitigating the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the people through employment generation and wealth creation.
But creating jobs, stimulating local economies, and ensuring that our youth have the access to skills that will be in the future and guarantee their job potential.
Goodwill messages centered on the need for stakeholders to key into the federal government transition to renewable energy programs in driving the nation's economy. In Abeokuta, Akim Jimo, NTA News.
And that's all we have for you from Ibadan at this moment. Nationwide continues with Ruth in our Abuja studios.
Thank you, Larry. But this is where we close the day on Nationwide. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.